Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Welcome back to my garden, of course. This is what I love to do on Sundays, weather permitting. It is super hot and humid right now, but I was out here doing some cleanup and wanted to share a few things with you guys. Let me give you a heads up. So, the rain is coming. Right now, it is maybe about a quarter to one, and it's supposed to start around 1 o'clock. Where I'm standing right now, I can see clouds like way over in the distance. I want to beat all of that. So, I was out here cutting back some cucumber leaves that have seen better days so that the cucumber can put more energy, so that the plant can put more energy into fruiting, flowering and fruiting. So, I was doing all of that, and hubby came out here and asked me a question. He was like, what is going on with this plant over here? This is radicchio. Now, if you have been following my channel for a while, you know that I like to let things grow until they won't grow anymore. And then once that happens, they'll start to flower, which as you can see, this radicchio is starting to flower. And the flowers are super pretty, purple, my favorite color. They will flower, and then after flowering, they will go to seed, which means that I can grow that same thing even more next season or share the seeds with other people. So that's what was going on with this, and it's too top heavy, so it just kind of flopped over. And with all the rain and everything, it's like, really wet, and then it gets really hot. As you can see, it has died back down at the bottom, and I was using bricks to kind of keep it propped up, but it's just so top heavy that it's almost impossible to keep up. So let's take a closer look at some of these flowers. Let's see. They're really gorgeous. Really pretty, bright purple flowers. Look at that. I've never grown radicchio before. I find that I really like the flavor. I didn't know that it would survive the heat. This one actually survived a really long time. The rest of them I ate. I think I planted like 3 or 4 over here. I can cook them, I can put them in salads. They are kind of spicy, which if you like things like mustard greens or arugula, bitter greens, really delicious. So the seeding part though is new to me. The flowers are gorgeous. I'm assuming that once the flowers kind of like dry up, that's what I'll use to get seeds from it. I don't know. Y'all are going to learn along with me. That's not really what I came out here to do. I'm just answering that question because hubby asked it. So I know if he asked the question, other people will be wondering what the heck is going on with that plant. I'm sure people when people walk by, they're like, what is going on over there in that corner? That thing right there. That's what it is. So I don't know. I'm just going to let that go for a little while longer so I can see what happens in the life cycle of the flowering and the seeding. What I really came out here for was this. These are carrots, you guys, and they need to come up. I want to be able to use the greens of the carrots, but they're starting to die back, and that's how I know that I really need to come out here and harvest these. Let me show you something really quickly. This is the top of the carrot. I'm just gonna, let's see if I can show you. Just gonna pull some of the dirt away. See that? That carrot is ready to come out. So this is what I really came out here to do. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these and share that with you guys. I still learn a lot every year in the garden. Carrots I thought were like a wintertime veg, but now I've learned that they are like, people are seeding them now. So I'm gonna harvest these and I'll probably throw out some more seeds just to see what I get. So here we go. Look at those clouds. Like, it's coming up on me faster than I can get out here and get it done. So let's see. Let's hope I don't run into any bugs. You know how I feel about that. I have to get the weeds for now and then. Oh, cute little baby. That one wasn't ready. That's not what I was trying to do. This is the bugger. I'm trying to get her out. Oh, this is interesting. Let me tell y'all why this happens. I don't know why these little knots happen right there. I don't know what's going on with that. But sometimes the carrots grow legs or they're misshapen or whatever. It's usually because there's like rocks in the dirt and it has to like try to grow in different areas. When I take this inside, I'll just trim all of this off and I'll have a perfectly fine carrot. So I'm gonna finish harvesting all of these and meet y'all back here in a minute. So now that I've gotten some of these harvested, I just want to show you how I'm going to handle them. This one I broke off the tops, so anyway, no big deal. I'm going to use those tops when I cook as well. So this is a Nantes carrot, and I got these because they only grow to about 6 inches, so this is about right. Like I said before, all of these extra, a lot of times they fork out, like this one kind of started to fork out because of rocks in the soil or clay soil or anything like that. This one's supposed to be really good for clay soil, but also because it's shallow, it's not so super long, only about 6 inches. It doesn't have as many problems with that. These little things coming out the sides that look like little roots, those are probably from root knot nematodes. It does not mean that the carrot is not edible. It's just fine. We just cut all of that off. And when I go inside, I'm going to wash this down and rinse off the green tops and use the entire thing. The green tops I think I'm going to use in a pesto with some basil. And then these, like I said, I'm just going to, like you would do with carrots from the grocery store, I'm just going to shave off the outsides. And I'll probably make these whole. I'm not even going to cut them. I might slice them in half, but they'll be really pretty with steak tonight. So that's all I do with those. I also grow Danvers. Those grow to about 8 inches long. Here's another one that forked. So I think it's so cool when they fork out like that, actually. Grocery stores won't sell you this. That's why there's places like Misfits Market that sell things like this. They thrive on selling produce that doesn't look great enough to sell in a traditional grocery store, but this is what real produce looks like, y'all. Anyway, what was I saying? I grow Danvers as well. Danvers only grow to about 8 inches, and I also do a kaleidoscope blend only because I like all the colors. So one way that you can avoid root knot nematode is to rotate your crops, which I do when I can. I try to rotate, but my garden is not super huge. That is a beautiful carrot, y'all. I don't care what y'all say. That's pretty, huh? So I do the Danvers as well, and I do the kaleidoscope. I try to rotate the crops as much as I possibly can, but my best year growing carrots was when I grew them in a grow bag. Look at that. It has its legs crossed. How cute and funny. Growing them in a grow bag, you kind of, it doesn't prevent root knot nematode, although I did not get that when I grew in a grow bag. But what it does do is prevents the forking and all of that, because let's just say a 5-gallon grow bag, you put in potting soil and you're pretty sure that there's not going to be any clay down there, and you're pretty sure that there's not going to be any rocks in there because you kind of take all that stuff out as you're filling up the bag. So that actually is my preferred way to grow carrots. I like to do it that way and actually add something that add something into the bag. Like last time I did garlic on top of the carrots, and that worked out so great. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that again this next time instead of trying to grow the carrots in my actual in-ground raised garden. Anyway, so this is pretty much all I wanted to show you guys, is this little process. What, first of all, like I said, what real produce looks like. Man overboard. And also remember that there's never any waste in the garden. All these trimmings I just did, that's gonna go right back into compost and feed the garden yet again, so I can grow even more carrots. So here I have my nicely trimmed little baby carrots. Some of them are so tiny and cute, like look how cute that is. Trim them off. I took off, of course, the tops, and I'll show you those in just a second. But here is what my little carrot looks like. Now, sometimes you'll go to these steakhouses and they'll have the entire carrot cooked and on the plate. These are kind of thick, so I'm actually going to quarter them. Oh, halved is really cute. Look how cute that is. But the thing is that I've cleaned these. I've, shaved off the excess on the outside, and I've taken off as much dirt as possible, but there's still a little dirt left at the top. I could put these on the plate like that, which I might do. I have not decided yet, and just everybody knows not to eat the part where I could not get the dirt off. I have rinsed these, and as you can see, trim them and rinse them again, and rinse and rinse and rinse. But they are very, very difficult to get all the dirt, especially off the top where, like you can see right here, especially off the top where they meet the soil and the greenery starts to grow. So I will either keep these in halves or cut them into quarters. I think the halves look really, really nice, and that's what you usually see like at your nicer steakhouses. So that's that part. And then part of this is that nothing ever goes to waste. Like, if you've been here on my channel before, you already know that I try my very best to use everything. Even like normally these trimmings, they would go into a pot to make vegetable broth or to help with chicken or beef broth. But some of these, I cleaned them really, really well, but I'm anal. So any little speck of dirt, it's not gonna go in that broth for me. It's gonna go back into compost. So that's what's gonna happen with those. Now, let's talk about this pesto. So I do have basil. I have some that I have washed and dried, and some that, I kept over in a little like pot of water. And these are gonna go into my NutriBullet, into my pesto. Now, about pesto. I am not a person who keeps certain ingredients on tap because I don't use them a lot. I typically do not have pine nuts specifically. And I typically do not have Parmesan specifically unless I have decided that, hey, I'm going to do something with this particular thing. This basil was starting to flower. I want to show you that really quickly. All of this can be used, like that's all edible, and it's all going to go into my pesto. The stems are edible too. The problem with the stems is that they're very kind of fibrous and tough, so they'll be harder to break down. I want a super smooth, like little pesto. But what I was about to say is that I'm making this pesto more of a chimichurri style, and I'm making a ton of substitutions. So this is going to be not a standard basil pesto because we're talking about carrots today, right? So I have my carrot tops, my carrot greens. They actually are really pretty little fronds, and I'm gonna use like just bunches of these in addition to my basil. Again, I almost never have pine nuts unless I decide that I'm gonna put something on the menu that requires pine nuts that specific day or that specific week. Got my garlic, I'll chop that later. What I do have in place of pine nuts, I always have egusi seeds and I always have pumpkin seeds because I love them. So the egusi seeds, actually both of these I typically get at either the Indian food store or the African food store. Egusi seeds I can only find at those stores. Pumpkin seeds I can find at H-E-B or Kroger. But since the international stores have them anyway, I'll just pick them up in bags in bulk. So that's what I'm going to be using in place of pine nuts. Also, I almost never have Parmesan cheese. I don't have the substitutes for Parmesan cheese because those are just not things that I use on a regular basis. I love them, but they don't get used up. They'll go bad, so I don't buy them. So what I'm going to use today instead is some miso paste, because Parmesan is all about the umami. It's not necessarily about it being cheesy and melting all over the place. It's about the flavor, and this is going to bring some umami flavor without adding a ton of salt or pepper or any seasoning for that matter. So we got miso paste, we got basil leaves, we got carrot tops, egusi seeds, and pumpkin seeds. It's about a tablespoon each. Garlic, of course. I'm gonna use 2 cloves to start. I might add some more after, and some extra virgin olive oil. And that's gonna make my quote unquote pesto sauce. Kind of like on a chimichurri style, but my pesto sauce for our steak dinner tonight. I'm gonna start out trying to use equal parts of the basil and the carrot tops. And of course, like I said, 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm gonna start out with 1 tablespoon each of all of my liquids. Y'all, you have to taste your food. This is the only way you know what you need to adjust and not adjust. And just like that, I am done with my pesto. I ended up using about the tops of 2 carrots. See, tops of 2 carrots. I used about 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup of extra virgin olive oil. I used about 3 tablespoons of miso paste, and the same amount of lemon juice, which brought that acidity. You always need acidity in your food. Brought that level of acidity, and it just smells really, really herbaceous. I ended up using 3 cloves of garlic in here and 2 tablespoons of seeds. I used, again, egusi seeds and pumpkin seeds. Normally you would use pine nuts, but never have that. So that's what I used in place of the pine nuts. No salt, no pepper. And it tastes absolutely amazing. Like, let's see, use a different spoon. The consistency, let me see if I can show you consistency. It is so bright and delicious. And the consistency, the consistency is like it moves around on its own. It's a little bit, but it's more pasty. It's not like runny, like a, I don't know, like a sauce or a gravy, or it's got some body to it, but it still kind of moves around on its own. If I wanted to thin it out more, I would put a little bit more lemon juice. I would put a little bit more of my liquids, the lemon juice and the extra virgin olive oil. But anyway, it tastes delicious. I did not add salt and peppers because when we make steak, we almost always grill our steaks. If I don't grill them, I put them in a cast iron skillet, which means we do nothing but salt and pepper, and we salt and pepper liberally because it's going to cook off and it's only going to be on the outsides. You want it to penetrate so that when you take a slice of that steak, the salt and pepper is enough for that entire slice, and we do ribeyes. So with all that salt and pepper on the exterior of the steak, getting a good sear, you don't need it in this sauce. If you put enough umami in that thing, and the umami comes from the Parmesan, which again, I didn't have, so I used the miso and lemon combination. That gives me the umami that I'm missing with the Parmesan. So that's that. I will show you what our steak dinner looks like later on when I get that done. Stay tuned.